and understanding. I want to explain and prove my point. Bezrat Hashem. Siyata Dishmai. Rabbi Yosef, the bell came in today, and Rabbi Socho. Good. Great. So we'll start reading the Gemara. We'll explain the three shittas in Sugya, which I understand. I want to explain against the Ram. Then to explain the Rabbeinu Tam. That's really what I want to explain today. What? Very good. They don't have it. By the way, I give a shiur 3 times a week, and it's on YouTube or it's on whatever. You can join in. Different time each day. Every day starts from 10:30 to 12. Besides, Tuesday is from 10 till 11:30. So we changed a little bit the day, the hours. Okay, doesn't matter. Basically, three times a week, hour and a half. It's enough to be involved. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Siyata Dishai with the help of Hashem. We're reading the Gemara. The Shiroi was this man that did Kiddushin with Shiroi. Shiroi is probably silk cloth. Rabba says you don't need shum, Rabbi says you don't need shum. What's the case? If he said whatever it is, there's no argument, you don't need shum. If we said 50 is not worth 50, Allah sure is not worth it.
I even think about puts a possibility in the top. No possibility. I said I don't keep my word. Which can have a meaning words.
Okay, good question. Good question. Definitely, according to Rambam, we have an answer to your question. Because it's Shiroi, so she wants it for herself, doesn't care about the price. What?
So the whole maklok could be totally if she wants it or if she does, or it's the money. Or
somebody else is talking. What do you say, Rabbi Gabriel? Yeah, that's what we said. Because as long as she wants the object, yes. That's what I said. Because once you say a price, she thinks about price. You're asking what's that? What's going to ask? Who's that? And it's true. Yes, Rabbi.
But what happens if it's not the price? He said 50, and what happens if it's not 50? If they want to, but she wants it anyway.
So therefore, it's not the Kodeshes. There's no Havamid Kodeshes. She's not. Keep Ligi, what's the argument? The Omar Chamishim Meshovu Chamishim. He says 50 is worth 50.
What is worth 50? If it's worth 50 before they evaluate it? Well, when he said 50,
no, he said 50 didn't evaluate it later on. You don't need Shuma, the Shavu Chamishim, Chamishim. Yosef Amar Tzich Shuma, he needs Shuma. A woman is not expert in appraisals, but she doesn't rely. Some other people say, but the Shor says I don't need Shuma, but even Rabbi Yosef, they will argue. Rabbi Yosef Amar, Shove Kesef Kesef, Kesef the Kaitz, or Shove Kesef the Kaitz. The din Shove Kesef is like Kesef from a pasuk. It has to be equal to Kesef. Kesef is cut. Shove Kesef has to be, the price has to be cut. If it's not cut, price is out. Yes. Good. Stop. So now there's a lot of parts in this statement of the Gemara. There's a lot of parts which we need to clarify, and there's a lot of machlokes rishonim here. So I want to basically, my goal is today, B'ezrat Hashem, is to relate the machlokes of Rambam and Rashi, the way the Kesef Mishnah Lechem Mishnah represent. Okay? Lechem Mishnah is printed in the papers here. Okay, we'll medaik soon the machlokes. And I think there's no machlokes, that's what I'm going to tell you today, in my opinion. And I found a Ran that says like me. So it's a Ran. The Lechem Mishnah brings this Ran. But I want to medaik in the words and explain the concept as other shit. Then we have to explain the Shittas HaRambam. It's Shittas Rabbeinu Tam. Okay? So we'll start with Rashi and Tosfos against the Rambam. The Rambam versus the Rambam. The Gemara says in Ikad Amri Arishon, the first Ikad Amri, that the Machlokes Rabbah and Rav Yosef and Yitshum or not, the case is when he says 50, it's worth 50. That's the case.
But how do we know it's worth 50? When he says it's worth 50, what's the basis of that? When he said those words, it's worth 50.
He says worth 50, and later on they checked it. After the giving of the Shiroi, they went to the market and they checked it. So then Machlokes Rabbi says Mekudeshes, Rabbi says not Mekudeshes. So we have a Machlokes with Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam. A very clear Machlokes Lichoiro. According to the Rambam, the question is, if it's Mekudeshes right now. But she checked it was worth 50 and she said, okay, it should be Mekudeshes then. So the only argument is the show he's showing on the first show, which is Mekudeshes or not. He gives it to her and he says the Mekudeshes is worth 50. And then later on, quickly or not quickly, she goes to the market, she finds out it's worth 50. So then, according to the Rambam, everybody will agree that later on she's Mekudeshes. The argument is Mekudeshes right now. According to Rabbi, she's Mekudeshes because she relies, it's okay, and she just needs to check it out, clarify the reality, which is Mekudeshes Someches. According to Rabbi, she's not a Someches. But when you do find out and she wants it, will work from then on. But according to Rashi, let's see Rashi inside. Rashi,
when is it
Rashi inside, I'm reading Rashi. Rashi, Dibur HaMatchil, Tzrich Shuma. Tzrich Shuma, Rashi says, the Kevon, this is the one before. Lo Tzrich Shuma, Shuma, Shem Kodesh Yitzkablet. Rabbi says, I don't need Shuma, means I don't need appraisal before. Rabbi Yosef says, Tzrich Shuma, and then he says, conclusion. The Kevon Shel Shoma'um, since they didn't appraisal it, in the beginning, Ein Mekudeshes and not Mekudeshes. If they didn't appraisal before, it's 0. Meaning she doesn't want such a maise. She denies the maise. Right? Again, to Rav Yosef, that he says, if he says it's worth 50, and it was worth 50 later on, he found it's worth 50. So according to Rashi, Tzrich Shuma is not Mekudesh at all. She doesn't want such a mice doesn't want. Means that later on I find out it's worth 50 and she says, okay, you know what, I want the marriage. You have to do no mice in the scene. On mice in the scene, it's a mice kicha that she doesn't want. So it's nullified, was cancelled. I can't hear. What you want to say, Rabbi Sawyer, here's what he has. Yes. She doesn't want it. She wants, suspecting doesn't mean let's clarify it. She says, I don't want it. I don't want such a deal.
So it's not even a question then. Which Mikadesh doesn't want it. It's not even a question.
One second, Yosef Chaim, one second. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Because later on, you have cases like that. You have to bring that, right? He wants,
But she doesn't want to enter such a mice. Which case? Tell me. What? 1 second. Yes, Dina Raso. Dina Raso is okay. You don't have to change it. One second. Give me a Gemara. Give me a Gemara. Tell me a Gemara. It's a Gemara. Tell me a Gemara. Thank you. The basic of Chaim is asking me a question. It says in the Mishnah, in the Braisa, Iskachli b'monel v'nimtza choser dino. O dino shel echoshen ukudeshes. Dino ra הרי זה מקודשת ויחליף.
It says, it says, Hachi, Ushiroi. No, Dami.
Wenn ja nicht expect this or English security.
But this was no, which was
Good question. Good question. Again, let's go over the question. Yes, the question is later on, the Gemara Davchet, the Gemara brings a price. The Gemara says, the price says, if somebody gives a woman bad dino, the Gemara explains later on what is bad dino. What is it considered bad dino? So she's mekudeshes and he has to change. She's asking what's the difference between there and here, according to Rashi. Yeah, I don't know exactly what is Din Hara, but let's say Din Hara that is Koshelo Yitzor. The Gemara says Daf Yud Beis, Dalef. That's Koshelo Yitzor. So Koshelo Yitzor means it's hard to spend it. Exactly. Which means there's not a loss of expectation. Just hard to get. It's like you have big face dollars and old dollars. To trade, but it's still dollars, the same value. So I don't think that's therefore it's not a kasha. But when the question how much it's worth, and she's not so mad at us, so then she doesn't want that money. So that would be the kill. Yes, what do you want to say about
Why are you taking something that you don't want to do?
That's a stronger question. That's a good question. Why according to Rav Yosef? That's Shuma, she lo yistam chodaitoi. So why she took it? The answer is, no smichus das means you want it, but you're not soymech.
So how can you want?
You need to have a complete smichus das. She has to makana, she has to mafkid. So that's it. She doesn't do the polo. We think she wants to get involved, but she's not soymech. She didn't want to start the process. And therefore what? It's out. Such a nice that she doesn't want to get involved. So what's looking for? Good question. It's like she has thinking that she wanted it to be good, but it's not. So therefore she doesn't want it. Mitzvah smichus. Smichus means it's a mitzvah that the hot when she wants, but she's not soymech on what she wants. The soymech means relies, finished, total. And she wants, when she does smichus, that's the case. So then she makes a resetting, something which I want. I'm not saying that I don't want it. And she doesn't want it again. Yes. Yes. She wants the material of silk.
Yeah, okay, it's really.
Okay, but he mentioned money. Okay. One second. We didn't finish. 1 second. So, according to the Rambam, the Rambam says that she does want this. She does want the deal, but she doesn't want to be doubtful. So later on, when she finds out worth 50, she does want it. And that makes sense why she took it. If you hold Loitzich Shuma means she wants right now, she's reduced qualified, she realized that it's really worth 50. She wants to Mavaya, that that's true, that she wasn't being cheated, but she's relying that this is it. It's a double check, as they say. But she's really relying on it. According to Rabbi Yosef, she's not soymech. But when you do find out how much she wants it then, but she didn't throw out the whole mice. Let's see in the Lashon of the Rambam. I want to read the Lashon of the Rambam. Yes, we have to know why. Why there's such a machlokes here in the Dasa Isha. So we have to go a little bit deeper to understand what's going on. So we read Lashon of the Rambam. Yes. Shloime, where's Shloime? It was here. It was here. Okay. No. I'm reading the Lashon of the Rambam. It's in page 4. A man told a woman he's going to Mekudesh to me in those clothing, which is worth 50 dinarim. The only Shomesh, you know, are silk. The Kayoisabim and similar things like that. Shaisha Misavaloem, the woman desires them. Imor Yushavim Hamishim, with the worth 50, if they're worth 50, she's Mekudesh from the time she took it. And once again, the Rambam says, "People be boy." The Rambam freed him, and I don't need first an appraisal on the market. Get the Mekudesh afterwards should be Mekudesh. Today, the teeth in order to rely on mine. I don't need that. I say once again, what I don't need, we learn from here what's the power of Yosef. We ask him that when the man gives a woman silk, she wants it. And it's not worth, he says worth 50 and it's worth 50, she wants it. And therefore she Mekudesh the time of she took it. And I don't need her to go to the market and appraise it in order to be soymech and then be married. And since, then Shem Kosher, since later on we find out that it's worth the way he said, I am to Mekudesh Rishon Yisrael, it's Mekudesh on the first moment. The men are showing me Mekudesh, and I worth. But if it's worth, then Mekudesh on Yisrael, I don't need a way to find out, which means, same thing like it's Rav and Rav Yosef, this is the book of the Kesef Mishnah. Give Mishnah. Everybody. That since he says, we learn he wants to throw out Rav Yosef. He says, the Kirish of Rava, they don't need Shura, and then which in the Kodesh Rishon Yisrael. Only she took it. When later we find out, which are actively Shirila, but really Shirila just clarifying. And don't say that she's not relying, but she'll clarify it. And only when you clarify, then she wants the Kiddushi. So when we see the Machlekes Rav and Rav Yosef, it's only in Shuma and open the Kodesh in the first moment. According to both of them, even Rav Yosef, later on, when she wants it, when she do clarify, she be Mekudeshes. According to Rashi says definitely, according to Rav Yosef, he says, it's in Shuma, and since she didn't do it before, it's not Mekudeshes. It doesn't say there's a wait till later on. Rashi from Rashi, that the case is out. What is the exact machlokes here? Why the Das? According to the Rambam, we say, everyone, she wants the mindset, but she doesn't want the moment. So really, go ahead. Yes. Right.
woman that knows so. She knows what it's worth. She wants. She knows what it's
But
worth.
we say, but according to Rabbi Yosef, we say she doesn't.
There are women that know.
There are.
Is it true, Tim?
No average woman doesn't know. The Gemara says, "Lo yidikia." She doesn't have profession. That's what the Gemara says, like Rabbi Yosef. 1 second. I want to explain the deep machlokes between the Rambam and Rashi, which really depends on the bigger machlokes. Right, yes, David Shaul. David Shlomo. desirable. זה אנחנו נסביר עכשיו. I want to explain here what really the machlokes with Rambam and Rashi. It's not really machlokes. I understand. 1 second. I'll explain the Kesef Mishnah, Magid Mishnah, Kesef Mishnah, Lechem Mishnah, all the big Meforshim and the Rambam, they learn as a machlokes Rambam and Rashi. The Lechem Mishnah, in a long Lechem Mishnah, which is printed here, and I hope people prepared it, and in the end, he brings down that the Rambam doesn't learn like this in the Rambam. So I was very happy that there's such a Ram. I want to explain that really what's going on here in the Svaras HaTovo, why the Rambam must say what he said, and Rashi must say what he said. There's no machlokes. They're talking two different cases. So let's go over that. We started with a Hakir, I think it was last week. I don't remember anymore what I talk. But it doesn't matter. The Hakir is, the Gemara says, this man that married this woman, he gave Kiddushin with Shiroi with silk clothing. What's the case? The case is, he told her, I want to marry you with silk clothing, which was worth 50. Or it says opposite. I want to marry you with 50 dinars. And the clothing was a silver 50 dinars. So let's see Rashi. Rashi on the Gemara. Just clearly, let's see Rashi. Rashi on our Gemara says clearly the case. Really, Rashi, people are not ill. 3 lines from the 3 lines on the bottom. You get 3 lines down in Rashi on the first page in the Diaspora Yeshiva page. If he told her, if it comes in Zoom, that's easy. 450. He told her 450, and those clothing up to the million with the value of the 50%, the value of the 50. This is the answer, I really do. No, on the third case. No, he's the one that Probably know that. Yes. It's actually becoming in zone. I see the trouble. What is going on? No, because there has to be first proposal. The middle case, right? That's no trouble. Yes.
wasn't he though? And the case of Roshov.
No, doesn't matter. He said, "Come to the result of actions." There's no more trouble. But the only in both cases. No, it's not true. Yes. No. That's not true, Reb Shlomo. Idom of the ולא שובו, מיקים ושובו חמישים, he said it's the same. Probably not show it's a result of what they found in the market. That's the same what he said. And Rashi said what he said. That's the case. He says, Miriam 50, and this is the value of the 50. What's Rashi says, let's continue on. The Shovu Hamishim, meanwhile, they didn't do no place before. So according to Rashi, the case is clearly that he said, will be this million, still get the worth of the worth of 50. So 1 second. Last week we had, I think it was last week or here, I don't know where I talked. Doesn't matter. The Gemara didn't speak about a fourth case. The Gemara didn't speak about a case where it didn't say, not 50. It just says, I want to know. It's worth 50 or it's worth 10 or 1 or just liquidations. But you talk about the value, Bechlab. You talk about what I'm giving you, what you're going to use for personal usage. That's everything out of the story. When you start talking about price, market, then you have to check. Even Coldwell's market says whatever it's worth, talk about worth. And then what she says, he says, I'm not.
Well, Rabbi Yitzchak, it fades back and forth.
It's not the value. 50 is market value, and I'm referring the market value with this. The Rambam's case. 1 second, let me finish, please.
Instead of the stump.
Means dinarim. Before the Gemara is economic. We'll explain that in a second. That's not true. That's not true. Who's listed Lishon Kam? The Sabbath. What do you want to say, Rabbi Yosef? Reading again the Rambam, now that we saw Rashi, let's see the Rambam. Yes, let's see now the Rambam. I'm reading now the Rambam again.
Rabbi Yitzchak, you could stay by the microphone. I'm
translating Rashi. Rashi is saying 2 things. Number 1, Rambam says, he tells her, I'm marrying you with this clothing. With this clothing. And information which is worth 50. He's not saying, I'm
Rabbi Yitzchak, you keep fading.
Number 2, the type of material that he's giving her is a material that normal women want from their own private usage. So you shall not, she wants it for herself. She wants to give it herself. So the Rambam is very clear that the case of the Gemara here is what? Says, I want to know a specific clothes. He tells the information is worth 50. And it's a material that she decided for herself. So we have two factors why she wants it for myself.
The normal woman also knows what it's worth.
No, it doesn't matter. She'll put it right. She wants it. She loves it. She loves it. She feels so. So she tells I want to know is this clothing. If she doesn't know clothing, she just fine sell. I want to clarify the price. It's for me to feel good what I got. It's really for myself. I'm working around with a diamond that's worth $5,000. I want to know how much it's worth, but I'm working out for my time. It's not for sale. Right? So the diamond which I got as my basher, my money. It's not for selling. So therefore I can say, how this is to clarify. And others said, no, as long as you don't clarify, she's not clear. When you do clarify, she wants it because she always wants it for herself. The price is only a side thing. It's like, tonight is it's like condition is not external, right? We have a nice is external. You smell this. I want to give it to herself. I don't care, just clarify, but she wants it now. You should go somewhere. I want to clarify. Well, I do clarify, I want to, because I want to sell it. His case. But let's go back to his case. He wants to, he has what he was able. When you tell myself, personal, the process is to feel good. With myself. Yes. Like that, she had a little case. When we went out, he said, the over, man was 50. And this is the million, right? I said, this is the million of 50. Different case. Different case. What's the case of Rashi? So I want to know 50 dinarim. And then take that and roll it out of his pocket. But this is now. He loves this rabbit. He loves this. He for our day. I work in the marriage of something personal. The subject matter of the marriage, that the material is personal, but the subject matter is market value, buying and selling 50. You sell it for 50. It means buying and selling. So there he says, so I said, it's just so much three lies. And she said very lively. It's out the window. I don't know how the market value is finished. We always talk about but the price is out. So if we explain to get stories why they're arguing, and maybe what we're saying is not like it's really the different cases. What Rashi will hold in the case of the Rambam, what did he admit? Look at the cases. What do you want to say? So there you can pay the difference. Now it goes down the difference. It's only harder to sell or easy to sell. Like good dollars, bad dollars. But both are dollars, worth $1. Here it's not worth it. She doesn't know how much it's worth. It means it's not just something. There's something maybe it's not even worth $1, worth half $1. Who knows? Let's say in a lot of countries, if you come with dollars, a lot of countries, they give you, for $100, they give you X amount per dollar exchange. If you give them $1, they give you less. Even in Israel. If you come to a change place, you give them $47 in dollars, they won't give you the value of $47. They'll right away tell you, I give 90% how much it's worth. 95%, they'll right away take 5% off. People have what? Because it's very hard to trade with it. It's not the country, it's a different country. That's really different because it's chaos here. It's not mamish money. Okay, at least a single dollar, not something you can trade with. Hard. But she can carry around big, why would there was 500 euro bills and $1,000 bill? You ever saw $1,000 bill? You never saw that. I saw. Yes, exists. There's $1,000, there's 1,000 francs. I saw 500 euros. There's a mile in Chison, easier to trade, big trading, less paper. Chison for the bad guys is easier to smuggle and run around with big money. So it's Chison and mile, and each country does it. So the big trade, but they don't do much of it because they're afraid of the something in between. But they're afraid of money launderers and things like that. Carrying around what? Terrorists.
Okay,
Most of it means it's worth less. No, it's not dinara. Dinara is hard to trade, but it's still worth a dinar. Bad dollars, now dollars, a lot of change. It'll give you $1 per dollar. But if you come with a big amount, $47, it won't give you a worth it. Right. Dinar is a hard country to, but people still use it. But it's not worth less, that's the point.
Market price, or the guy gonna charge her fee.
It's all true, but it's not our case. We're not going now case where it will be worth less because of fees and other things. 50 means with all the fees and everything, it's worth 50. That's what he said. With mom, with everything, it's worth 50. That's what it's worth. So now, it's not problem in the worth. So we gain here very big yesoidi. We gain here that really is no machlokes Rambam and Rashi according to my understanding. It's just two different cases.
Hard Sion, Yad Kevin Dever Hamelech. Ken.
So that's really the very. I saw. If you look carefully, guys, you look carefully in the Lechem Mishnah. The Lechem Mishnah is brought down on page 6. Yes. Machlokes Rambam Rashi. What is the case of Shiroi? He said 50, and this is the worth of 50. He said Shiroi, and by the way, it's worth 50. So machlokes, what's the case? But there's no machlokes if that what's the case. Could be. There's no machlokes if that's the case. What's the law? The conclusion will be the same. Yeah, if Rabbi didn't talk about it, talk about it. But you look in Lechem Mishnah, he brings down the Rav Magid, but in the end, he brings down. This is 2, 4, 5 lines on the end of the Lechem Mishnah, page 7. And he says in the small letters, 5 lines down. Velerashi. No, go 6, 2, 4, 6 lines down. I mean up, not down, up. 6, sita linea desde arriba. Abajo. Go from below upwards, count 6 lines. 7 linea. And you see, Mikol Mokom Koshek Tzaz B'diver Rav Magid. Del'iyan dino lo nafkol midi miperush Rabbeinu, which is the Rambam. Shepeire sheshumach kedushim me'anel das Rav Yosef. According to the Rambam, to appraisal afterwards works. Means machlokes is only right now she's mekudeshes or not. And later on, even Rav Yosef agrees it works. Rashi, that's our Rashi. The Rashi, the Wadi says no. You cannot. It doesn't work later on. If it's no good at all. Ein mekudeshes. So he says, the Rav Magid said, I don't see any nafkamina ledina between Rashi and the Rambam and the machlokes what Rav Yosef held. Because I like Rav Yosef. Again. The Rav Magid says there is a machlokes Rashi and Rambam. But he doesn't see enough kamina la'alocha because the machlokes is according to Rav Yosef, according to the Rambam later on. If she says yes, it's okay according to the Rambam, and according to Rashi, according to Rav Yosef, is totally in the Mekudeshes. That looks like Rav. It's enough kamina. It's only according to Rav Yosef. So first of all, we have to explain what's the machlokes, and we say what's the yesod of machlokes. no real about 2 different cases. Then maybe it is enough for me. Let's see what he says. He says, comes the Lechemish, he says, not true. Dovadai nafkalon tuva. Comes the Lechemish and he says, Vadai, there's a big enough kamina between those 2 opinions. Why? Do paskinan kerav Yosef, bemili de loavu shiroi, shaish amachmeres loem. The Rambam said, only beshiroi, which is a personal usage material, only there we say she doesn't need truma because she wants it. But Rav Yosef, we do need. And later on it works, but we do need now. Now it doesn't work. Later on, yes, but only there when I desire it. But if it's material which I don't desire, then Rabbi Yosef kicks in. He needs truma. What? Which means Rabbi Yosef, the swallow of Rabbi Yosef is still there? Yes, David Shlomo. Mama. Equal to Kodu, like Kodu. Okay, good. Good. But if it's not Shiroi, according to the Rambam, if it's not Shiroi, you need Shuma only for now, but later on it would work maybe, which doesn't throw out the whole Maise. According to Rashi, even if it's not Shiroi, I don't want it, means it's throwing out. So there's enough Kamina between Rambam and Rashi. Materials is not Shiroi. This is what the Lechem Mishnah says against the Rav Hamagi. He says, I don't agree with you. You want to say, I don't care. Machlokes Rashi and Rav Pshat and Rav Yosef is not coming along. It's not true. Things which are not Shiroi, Rav Yosef kicks in. So then it's Machlokes. Rav Yosef that says you need Shiroi is totally out like Rashi. It's only now, later on is in. This is what the Lechem Mishnah says. So, the other person, the middle of the Shaish, ובעול לרש"י ז"ל, לא ימאני שום מהחידושי, ולרבינו מאני סתם. Comes the Lechem Mishnah says, the Haran bepirush ha'alochos, the Ran that he explains the Rif, the Ran on the Rif kosa, the lo inafkolon ben pirush Rabbeinu lepirush Rashi klal. He said, but he says, okay, it's not only the Rav Hamagi, also the Ram says there's no enough coming between Rabbeinu and Pirush Rashi klal. No difference. It's the Ram. אבל דיבר הרב המגיד, הרי הם, דיבר הרב המגיד, הם מגומגמים. The Rav Hamagi says, Ledina, there's no enough kamina. He says, Ledina, there is enough kamina in a case where it's not Shiroi. The Ram says, right now, in Shiroi, there's no difference in Rambam and Rashi because that's Rav Yosef. But the Rav Hamagi that says there's no kamina at all, then the machlokes right now in Shiroi. That's not true. In the case of not Shiroi, there's not kamina between them. This is what he says. Yes.
We are talking about the data of the woman, but the woman takes it. And she takes the things, he make it cash. He wants to get married.
Yes.
He wants to get married.
She wants it, not she.
She wants.
Yes, yes.
She wants to get married, and when she takes the things, listen, the Kikha is already in his power, like in her power.
Yes.
What is the problem of, oh, I need to evaluate this price because I need to know how much it's worth? It is not a transaction of a business. It is fiduciary. You want to get married because you are here in front of me, and I give you these things that worth 50, 20, then don't work. It doesn't matter how much it's worth. Shabbat Buddha, enough. Why is all this?
Because
short of the talking.
Yes. I like it's an opposite. Like, I mean, use your svara, an opposite. Use your logic. A woman, she wears a white dress. She waits all her life for this moment. And now the husband comes and he's wishy-washy. Comme ci, comme ça. Not clear. Come on. I prepared this, I'm giving my life to you. it's the most important time of my life. You're wishy-washy. It becomes a disgrace. Because you have this opposite. Okay. So now, one second. But according to what we said, really, the machlokes between Rashi and the Rambam is it's not even machlokes, just different cases. So in the case of Rashi, when he says I want to marry with 50, and this is will be fulfilling of the 50, only there Rav Yosef says, right? Only there Rav Yosef says, since I talked about market 50, I want to fulfill the 50. He says this is out. I want this myself even later on. Right? There will be a difference if it's shirur or not shirur in the case of Rashi. No, because according to Rashi, the subject matter is not personal usage. He started with money. Money is not personal usage. Money is money. It's universal. It doesn't do with anything. Right? And he says he fulfills it. So the whole reason why the reason knocks it out is because she talked about money. And we talk about money and it's unclear money. I can tell you, it's unclear money. So he says the case of not shirur, the case of not shirur, anyhow, she admits to the Rambam. Is the case he marries her with an object, and the number is just an information how much is worth. Rashi will admit that not shiroi, that's not an object that is so much personal use. Although he said personal use, not so that she desires. Right? So there I don't say, even though he's talked about the object, but since he also mentioned 50, it's out. If it's not shiroi, and Rabbi admits to Rav Yosef there, and Rashi will admit to that. Just Rashi talking about different case. Rashi talking about case, he said 50, and he said this is worth, this is going to fulfill the 50. And in the case of Rama, Rashi will admit. So he made there's not enough community between those two opinions, those two different cases. No, I said the Ram says there's not enough Kamina. So he says not what? According to me, they're not arguing. Two different cases. In this case, who says that? Is he inside you sort of? No, that's not what I understood. Okay. Let's see, let's open it up. Open it up. Yeah, we're on. And back up, open it up. Open it up inside. Okay. So until now, yes, go ahead. Same case? Yes.
בדיבור התחיל רש"י, לא הסתיר על 50. So you look at chapter 10 in the Gemara, you obviously, because what is so gabbled the comes to Sheloim.
Yes.
The Gemara says Machlek, and then it says I or Makodu.
Yes.
I or Makhamishi, so the Rashi talking about the Khamishi, but on what? In the case of catching Sheloim. Again, he's going in the case of gabbled the catching Sheloim, and that case, I or Makhamishi. See, he has a locha before. I mean, it's the same case. Both cases say, oh, Makhamishi. I said something else.
What are you saying? Yes, Absalom.
The subject of the Gemara, Kodesh B'Shuvoy.
Yes.
And that is saying they have a case of Kodesh B'Shuvoy.
Yes.
He says, at that case, Paul says, what are we talking about? You're talking about eat this.
Eat the Omar Hamishin. Eat the Omar, he said. Yes. And Rashi defines, he's actually making Moshe hand.
Smaller. Ken.
Yes. No, they won't explain what he meant. Not what he meant, what he said.
The Malak, it's the.
Shiroi, he said Hamishin. Rambam changed it, the Rashi changes it. Rashi's Chamishim means he told the Chamishim, and he says the Shiroim will fulfill the Chamishim. And the Rambam says he told the Shiroim, and that's what Chamishim, two different cases. Yes. One second. You go and want to tell me why Rashi's already said? Just go. Rashi Rambam again. How? How? Yes.
The more Chavishi invented, because in that case, he made this one case. It's not easy. Now I talking about a good case. Chavishi did this. So, and
Chavishi is it. He said, Shiro, Godim, and then it's where Chavishi is. But she didn't say that. Yes. Shiroim.
Catching why that case? Catching the case. The guy with this body. But you have a case, and that case is mostly the one catching him is mostly than that. But now the case is, but when he said catching the body maybe like the number.
So why Rashi have to talk too much? He just said he don't know he's catching Chamishim. He already said. Rashi continues. No, why Rashi has to say the Gemara already talked about before, quite to you. Why did the Rashi continue a little bit, man? Not a good question, that's wrong. See, this is the case. The case says he told him, a little bit, man. He says, clearly, what's the case? Okay. Okay. Finished. What?
Because on the first case,
the matter. Show me that to the reality what happened in the market. Until I already said. Okay, this is clear. I don't have what you say. Finished. Correct. Very good. And I want to focus on object. Yes, very good. Very good, very good. Good, very good. Now, yes, Rebel. That's very good. This is our next subject. Our next subject is, it's really next subject is really, I'm going to find that the Rabbeinu Tam, the Rosh, right? We're talking about this, you know the Rosh Rabbeinu, right? Okay. Rosh, Rosh, Ram, everybody, we'll see in a second. If somebody gives women tabat, and he tells her those words, what's the law? Everybody screams, right? Why? They say Vada, yes. It's not part of the the Gemara didn't bring this case because they didn't mention market price. That's the whole sugya. I understand this is the beginning of Israel. I think I said last week. If I didn't speak, I don't remember why I spoke. I spoke to Alishi. Last week I taught this sugya the last week. That's why. Last week by ready. Okay, good. That's why it's in my mind. Sorry. My mistake. This is a given that the whole Machlokes Rab and Rav Yosef, that's my understanding, it's a given, or the Rashi and Rambam, it's a given that when he doesn't talk about market value, it's definitely a personal usage. If somebody says, it's a personal usage. It's not market. I'm talking about value. You have to know Shavaput on it. Not Shavaput, it could be out of the game. It's not kesef. So which kid is not star, it's not beer. Under which category you marry her? It's to be kesef, it's to be very more enough kesef Shavaput. That's a din. But a mekadosh with the object itself, that's what she wants. Even though she thinks she will sell it, maybe, but it's not the subject matter. I'm giving her, I'm marrying her with this object, which is personal usage. That's a normal way of looking at it. Yes, no, I'm saying Poldo and Stam are two different cases. Two different cases. When I say Stam, so then when I say Stam, I don't talk about price. say koldu means what Rashi says. We read Rashi. Rashi says what's a koldu? Iskachili behen kemoshen. The way it's worth means koldu means there's two ways how to read koldu. Koldu means it's at least worth a pruta. So koldu means me marry you with the minimum. Koldu means marry me with the minimum. That's what she said. She didn't say koldu marry me with the minimum. Just koldu means worth. Then a dream could come in. I wish I think a lot of what it's worth. But I'm tired whatever it's worth. And I agree, whatever it's worth, I want to marry to, even though it's not clear to me. But I didn't say Kemosh Koldo means marry to me because at least there's Shabbat Puta here. Like rabbis say, there's Shabbat Puta here. It's a different case. It's not our case. I didn't say I didn't say marry me with a Shabbat Puta in it. Why do I have a Shabbat Puta in it? I didn't say that. Rashi says, "Iskachili boek Mosheim the way they are. The way they're you're so what Rashi says? Rashi says, "Don't shovel, don't less, don't." It's very honest of Puta. So we brought down the quickest spy in the makne. What happened is so Puta. So the Makane says the Rashi is out. According to the back, even Rashi is lav daka. Just happens to me there's Vara Shavaputa. But even if you have a Sabak Shavaputa, it's still in. Again, let's go over what we have. 1 second. What is our subject now? We now entering a different point. We're entering in, it's really in the depths, is all one point. Our subject matter right now is your question, Rebel. If somebody gives a woman material, object, stone, silver, whatever he gives her, and he says, I want to marry with this. What's that? That's it. Yes, so what's the law? It's not part of our subject. It's not our sugya. It's found out from our sugya. Why? Because it's bezeh. It's a bezeh. With this, what's no use? I don't market value of the car. Has to be Shabbat Puta. Say even if people listen, I'm not letting you to talk because I want to get a point in a deeper sense, a deeper point. We learned the Machloikes, Rabbeinu Hanan and Ramban, if you guys remember, in the sugya of Adam Choshev. She was Anor. So the Ramban and Rabbeinu Hanan, everybody is, defined Anor and Choshev. Anor, Shveketzik, what is it? Rabbeinu Hanan says, Anor can be turned to Kesef when I need Kesef, and Anor can be turned to Chalipim when I need Chalipim. Remember that? And the Rashba, the Ramban was attacking his father Kesef, and the Rashba says, no, it's Smichus Das. Has to be Shabbat Puta, but it's a Smichus Das. And the Smichus Das, that's what we explained the Rashba, remember? And can work in each place, whatever Smichus Das says. It makes it, my Samach Das can be Kesef, be Chalipi. So here's the same I can say. When I say I want to marry with this, obviously it's not Shtar, not Bia. So it has to be Kesef. But it's not kesef. It's personal usage. Means it's smichus das. I agree to marry with us. Which kinyan is it? It's kinyan kesef. But under which category? Shnei kesef. Kesef. I know. It's always been smichus das could be even. So it could be smichus das when I'm talking about bezeh, with this. In this object, personal usage, I'm not talking about market value. In the din of kesef, we have to know minimum has to be worth the market value. So before I was bound out from kesef, of the din kesef, of kichas kesef. But the subject of the marriage is B'klal in the world of Smichus Das. You can say, that's if I'm saying Reizeh. Yes, what do you want to say? Yes. Yes.
That is not true.
First of all, we didn't explain this last part of the sugya. That's the whole Lechem Mishnah in length. But on 1 foot, the whole sugya there is only the Rishna Bas. Where? Show me. I don't see a Gemara here. Oh, here's a Gemara, sorry.
This is common. Nicht der Bass. Nicht der Kampf. Nicht der Bass. Oh, danke.
How do you explain the word Bekev Deloi Kaitzi? El Allah Rav Gad, the show became Deloi Kaitzi Loi. The Gemara says the word kites.
Is that I love Shuma?
You each retrain the word Kaitzi means Shuma. Okay, we have to understand this places. Good point. Yes. After we have to learn this places. I don't know yet. I don't want to miss point in this. I want to answer that. To me, it was clear only Lishna Bas because the word Gemara is Lorshon Kaitzi. Kaitzi means cut. The Gemara says clear. The problem is Manan and Milo that is kites. So places Lishna Kala means kites doesn't mean kites means Shuma. Okay, trading the words. I don't know. I have to see this places. I don't know what's this place. I have to see the Marshaw. Marshaw may have a different Girsa here. I don't know. Marshaw says Pshat here. You have to see the Marshaw. If you have a normal Gemara, I will see quickly. Give me. I don't have a Gemara. This is a chance. I don't have any. Who'll say the second? Yes. Bija means it's an amount. Yes, even without Bechameshes, it is an amount, and therefore it is kite. There's only a problem of slikus dasanat. Okay, but still, it doesn't explain the language. They are forced to say kite lavdavka. Okay. Good. But let's say, what do you want to ask on there? Let's see. It's okay. You're right. No. Egel's there. So what the Gemara's proof is, we see that it works. Well, it says Egel's there. One second. Egel's there. Egel product. Chamesh Shvaim product. How are you going to explain the difference? The what? The English Chamesh means was Shuma. So it's work. And that Chamesh means no Shuma is out. Good. So what do you want to see from that? Yes. What?
And I say, told you who's the same. The Rashba says.
You just heard now the Marshaw. Learning the Lishna Pasna. So we love a kasha b'chal. If you can mix the boxes. If you brought me Toysvis, the Marshaw explains the language and he explains why we have to change, why it have to twist the simple language of kites that means Shuma. Because the Marshaw, because they had a problem. Because when I say Egels, the Pidyon means 5 shkolim. So automatically you talk about market value. Because that's what Pidyon is about. When I say Egels Pidyon means for the 5 shekels, about market value. I already said in my mouth, there's market value. So they don't have a kasha b'chal. So that's why the case of Egels is similar. There are things, she said numbers. But now the question of the case, he doesn't say anything. So it takes this. That's a different story. I can run like the simplistic girl has a kite. 1 second. You asking questions, we have to answer. Siyata d'shmaya. So the Rashba says, when I say Egel Zeh, it means what?
Stop.
Okay, good. Good. No matter what, you're out of the question. Because Koldu, it's also market value. Can we say it? This is what we answered. It's very simple. This is to me simple. I'm answering you very clear. According to the Marshal, why is Lishnek Kama? Because you have a problem, like say, Egel Zeh Pidyon, and Pidyon means Kamesh's calling, talk about numbers. Numbers is market value. So that's why he says Zeraya that you need Shuma and Lishnek Kama, because you talk about market value. According to the Rashba, then goes Lishnek Kama, but Egel says like Koldu, so it's Koldu is a number. Talking about Koldu, can we say talk about value? The market value is part of the sugya of Etzich Shuma. But if we talk about a different case, Bechlal, that the Gemara didn't speak about. A case that he's giving an object to the woman. That's not the sugya of Shuma Etzich Shuma. Very clear. Like,
Same.
okay. You're right, there's such a Rashba. Such a Rashba. Okay, there's such a Rashba, clear, you're right. Seems to be Rashi is saying that the Koldu is not the Dafka he mentioned market value. He says every star means Koldu. That's what the Rashba is saying. So still, I have no right from the Rashba against me. Very simple why. Because Rashi doesn't reveal how does he learn in the Sugya. Again, there is three majors. We talk about two, and we didn't talk about the third one. We still have time. Talk about the third opinion of Rabbeinu Tam. And until now, we talked about two major opinions, which we mentioned in two different cases. But there's two opinions on two different cases, according to my understanding. Is a case of, we talked about money and the Shiraim fulfill the money. We talk about object, and he also mentioned money. You don't know where the Rashba was holding, which case. If the Rashba is saying that Shiroim is not a factor in our sugya, like Rashi, Shiroim is not a factor. Shiroim is not because she's misave. It's the fact is an object which women want for the personal usage. So therefore, we assume that she wants a personal usage. That's a loitzich shuma. She relies on it, according to Rabbi. Rabbi Yosef later on. Shiro is not the fact here, according to Rashi, right? So now, if the Rashba, or if let's say, or the Rashba were like Rabbeinu Tam, that the Machloek is a general Machloek is on all. According to Rabbeinu Tam, which we didn't speak about it yet, but we'll start right now. The Rabbeinu Tam learns, and the Machlokes Rab and Rav Yosef is in all cases. The Rashba that I saw doesn't have any other pieces on it. But there's different Rashba. There's two Rashbas, there's two different people. This Rashba that you printed there is not, that's the only piece on the You understand? He brings down Rashba Masechidus Naftes Amud Aleph. Maybe it's our Rashba Naftes. Okay, what do you see from this Rashba? He brings Rabbeinu Tam. So he holds like Rabbeinu Tam, very good. Look what the Rashba, very good. Min HaShamayim, in the right time, the question's in the right place. Let's open up Stein, page 2, and the Rashba that quotes Rabbeinu Tam, okay? So now, maybe it'll be easier for us to understand the Rashba. And that's why Rashba says Stam. Why Stam is like Koldu. Let's see. Umishem Rabbeinu Tam. I'm reading in the black words on page 2 on the Rashba. Umishem Rabbeinu Tam Omer. Dehitzich mishum de Rabba v'Rav Yosef ki eichi de pligi b'shiroi. The same way to argue on Shiroi. U'kanami the same way pligi b'mekadosh b'chol dovo. The siyata d'shmai. Rabba and Rav Yosef argue on all materials. Shiroi or anything. Not like the Rambam, and to be not like Rashi. Rabba and Rabbi Yosef argued a simple argument. Rabba says you need Shuma, you don't need Shuma, Rabbi says you need Shuma. Rabbi Yosef says you need Shuma, it's a new Shuma. Rabba says you don't need Shuma, even Bavonim Toivos, even some which I praise is not clear. First of all, this is a new way of learning. That's a third way of learning. 1 second. A third way of learning, until now we learned that the Machlokes is in Shiroi B'Davka, but you have two different cases. The Rambam's case and Rashi's case. According to Rabbeinu Tam, is not the Shiroi. Shiroi is not the factor here. The question is, you need Shuma or not? According to Rabbi, you don't need Rabbi Yosef, you always need it. It doesn't matter what is it. So if I will take the Rashba right now that we saw in Daf, and our Daf is Daf, Amud Beis and Zayin Amud Aleph, okay? Our Daf. The Rashba says, Kol Du is lav dafka that I said clearly in my mouth, Kol Du. Is Stam, always Stam is Kol Du, because he understands that according to Rabbi Yosef, any object you give, it's when you talk about when you're married in Kesef, Kesef means market value. According to Rabbi Yosef, you talk about market value without cleaning your mouth. Doesn't matter the material, and now we're ending with the Rashba in Rabbeinu Tam. Doesn't matter the material. It doesn't matter if he mentioned amount or he said Kol Du, he didn't say Kol Du. He said, even some, the Rashba together with Rabbeinu Tam. What's the swear of Yosef? Because the swear of Yosef, I won't say the swear of the Rambam, the materials that it's a personal usage. I'm not talking about market value. Since I'm married, I want to finish my swear, after my swear. And since I'm talking about Kesef, Kinyan Kesef is always market. What do you have, Yosef? Doesn't matter what material is it. And if I say Kol Du, or even I didn't say Kol Du Stam, it's like Kol Du, it's all together. She's soimer. Even though it's all market value, she's soimer. She wants it. She's soimer. She wants it. Even though it's market value, and even if he told her 15, it's worth 15, he's talking about market value. The Rebbe says always, when she accepted it, she wanted it, maybe she wants a personal usage, she's soimer chtas, some chabayta. We don't know what is a svos, because my personal, she's soimer. The Rabbi Yosef says, always not soimer. Always means, always, the Rabbeinu Tam says. Besides Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef. Always they're not soimer. And if I shove in the Gemara Chamishi, Shove Chamishi, Kol Du, or Stam, which is like Kol Du, How do Rabbi Yosef admits? No, I'm talking about since we see from Rabbi Utam that there's no difference in materials. This doesn't matter if it's a material, like the Rashba says, material that is personal usage more, or material is not material. Or it doesn't matter if it's a material that it's more, the Shuma is Nikar more, or the Shuma is Nikar less. All the Svaras is not in the Machlokes Rav and Rabbi Yosef. So it is the Machlokes. If there's no difference, if it's a material that people use for personal usage, if there's no difference if the appraisal is recognized, not recognized, it's a machlokes be'etzim. Rabbi says, I need shuma, I don't need shuma, she's a shleimeches das, and other says she's not shleimeches das. When he says a number, when he says kodu, means she agreed to that number of kodu. And still, it's not kodu, she agreed to the number. But this is the svara. The svara between Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef is nothing to do with the material that it was made for personal, not for personal, or the shum was nikor or not. There's no difference. All those differences are not even a difference. The difference is, the question is, the woman is somech das to clarify later on or not. According to Rabbi, she's somech das what he tells her. She doesn't want to clarify what she does, but she doesn't change the agreement of the marriage, of the kiddushin. According to Rabbi Yosef, she's not soymech. Lo yisam chadaito is out. Yes. Good. You want to write to this Svara of Rabbi the way he learns the Gemara. Okay, good. It fits more. Good. But let's continue on a little bit more. That's the punch here. I want to finish with this punch to explain the Rosh. Bezrat Hashem. To your question, Rebel. I mean, the deal is a kerab below Mekudeshes. If I follow the moral rules, Rabbi Yosef Baruch is like Rabbi. Rabbi Yosef like Rabbi. Right? In all cases, the Rashba Yidoi quotes Rabbeinu Tam because it's much more clarifying than Tosis the way Tosis quotes Rabbeinu Tam. And listen what he says. Kamash Malon, the Dafka B'Shiroi, specifically in silk material, Lefisha Shumosan Ikeres, because the appraisal is recognized on the object. Only in Toivus Amagoli Yoshen Shumosan Ikeres. The appraisal, the price is not recognized on the object itself. Which means, according to Rabbeinu Tam, the halacha, it's a new cocktail. The halacha is not passing like one of them, the way the Rambam or Rashi. The halacha, it's a new psak. Although they argue in all materials, Rabbi says you don't need shuma, Rabbi says you need shuma in all materials. The Gemara makes a new yasoi. Shiroi, I agree to Rabbi, because the shum is nikah from itself. In Toivos, which is the shum is not recognized from itself. And therefore, we're not finished 2 more lines. You need an appraisal, and the Rabbeinu Tam says why. Here, Rabbeinu Tam needs an explanation. Look in the words. I want to explain what Rabbeinu Tam says, and then we'll see the Rosh Hanet. You have some time to see what we can answer. Ela, tzricha shuma. The shema toyo b'shumaso v'sruva shisho v'yoysa. When I read this, read it 10, 20, 30, 50 times, I forget what he's saying. He's saying that the halacha is only by shiroi, I don't need shuma, I don't need an appraisal. When he says 50, is worth 50. But because the appraisal is recognized, the object, the shuma is recognized an object. But in Toivois, if you're looking at it, you can't appraisal by looking at it. You have to have a professional eyes to see it and recognize it to give an appraisal. Untrained eye cannot appraisal it. So therefore, you need shuma because maybe she's mistaken in her shuma and she thinks she's worth much more. So what? He stole the 50, and she thought it was worth 200. Now it's worth 50. Was any problem with it? He kept his agreement.
Telling her that's what she wants. If she looked at a certain way, then that's not what the value is. Her does. What as relates to the other.
But Michlal Masayim on it, and she took upon what he said. He said it's worth 50. She took it, and she thought in my mind it's worth more. She made a deal above his head, right above his back, and she didn't. She had any complaint. You buy a car. You see, you have shining eyes. See, this guy's stupid. He's selling me a car that is worth, he thinks is worth only 50, and he tells me it's 50, and I buy it for 50, and it's worth more. And I come back, and the mechanic tells me, sorry, it's only 50. Can I come back to the guy and say, hey, I'm sorry? I had this question this morning. Somebody came to me before davening. Says, Rabbi, I need to ask you a question. I said, I didn't daven yet. I need a question. Great. Okay. I bought a car, and he came out of this guy that he bought a car, and he told him a chayshan. Chayshan means a detector of the engine broke. And he called the guy and says, what's the engine broke? The someone says, no, it's a detective. Go there, who fix it to you. And he fixed it and he went on. Now he has an argument is he needs to pay for that chayshan. I said, you sign the contract, finish this done deal. Can I have it a year later, a second later? I said, it would be mekachtos. If you knew this chayshan was not, they would buy the car. And I says, well, no, buy the car. It's finished, done deal. Finished, no complaint. You took the 50, you thought it's 50, you had in your mind it's more, it's only imagination in your mind, you found it's not true. So what's the problem? Again, what Rabbeinu Tam says? Rabbeinu Tam says the halach is like only by shiroi, because the shumas nika, the shisoy meches. But when there's avonim toivo, stones and diamonds and things like that, she makes the mistake, Toyo, he says. Toyo, the Shema Toyo, maybe she's mistaken, and her Shuma, and she thinks it's worth much more. What's wrong? That was what you thought, and you took it for that price that you made up. And he says more. One more line, is the punchline. The Afilu, even if he said to her, the Koldu, that's not as I told you. He said, Koldu, yes, I have been toilets. Well, he's some chapaita, shouldn't rely on mine. No. Then we can say the machloek is some chapaita, not some chapaita, is 50 and it's worth 50. But by Koldu, it's Koldu. So she agreed to Koldu. Say no. It's avonim toivas and magroliois. She can make a mistake, think it's worth way more. And even if he said called the rule, so from here I got a svor. What's the svor of Rabbeinu Tam? I want to say what's svor of Rabbeinu Tam. Maybe we can answer the Rosh. The svor of Rabbeinu Tam is, although he told her 50 and she took it as 50, but I want to tell you a story. It happened to me myself, and I went through the emotions. My father was nifter, bless his memory, and afterwards my mother. My mother made a tzavor, nobody should touch the house until a year after she dies. Don't touch the house. Okay, a year passed late. Afterwards, all the brothers and sisters came. Okay, now we divide the house. Take books. Okay, boys will take books. My father has thousands of books. You don't remember in my father's house, right? Okay, who takes the books? I barely have space to put books in the yeshiva. I forget about it. I says, I'm out of the books. The Ask Yeshiva's out of it. I didn't want to take sticks. Okay. There was a big table with a pile of who knows what, cans and candles and pots. I don't know where they came from around the world. Different things. What? Yes, tables are full of junk, all stuff. Everyone take something, sit down, and you make crowds. Okay, I walk in there. I says, none of this belongs to. I'm not shy. But I saw in a piece of paper and a plastic wrapped up was amazing stones. I said, why? It's been wrapped up nicely, amazing stone. Maybe it's worth a lot. I grabbed it. No, grab it. I took it. That was the last thing I took. So I don't want anything else. I come to yeshiva, I ask one of the merchants, How much is it worth? It's 1 or 2 shekels, not worth even looking at it. Why? It's quartz. It's shining, but it's quartz. And it's quartz. No value. Okay? I know that I'm taking whatever it's worth, but I have an imagination that it's shiny and it's worth a lot. So I'm very down, right? 1 second. So 1 second. Yes, but 1 second, guys. We're talking about being down. Allah has nothing to do with the Machlekes Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef. There's everything to argue on the raw material. That's what we made up. What's the halacha? The halacha is a little pshat here. In Shiroin, which the Shum is Nikar, we pass against Simichos Das. Something which is the place on Nikar, so then what happens? 1 shekel, I left it. I don't give it back. Just leave it by you. I want to do those stones. Throw them in the garbage. So what I felt stupid. I felt, I won't say cheated, not cheated. I cheated myself. I felt that I self-cheated myself. This is the svara. The svara is, true, she thinks way more. Because since diamonds and avonim toim as a type of material, the spectrum between one side and the other is very high. So, very broad. So therefore, maybe she thinks it's on a high spectrum on the side of the spectrum. It's on a high side. And therefore, she says to herself, and here's my conclusion. She says to herself, I don't want to get into it because I may cheat myself, and after it's very bad that I cheated myself, it'll be very bad. Feel very bad. So I'd rather not get into this business. So even he said Kolshu. He said 50, it's worth 50. But since it's a type of stuff, as the spectrum between one side is very wide, and she can shoot herself. She said, I don't want to, I agreed to the 50, because really I didn't agree to the 50, so I'm dreaming about the million. It's a faking. She knows that she fakes herself to agree to the Koldu, agree to the 50. 1 second, and therefore, what? She knows that maybe a slick that's a fake. She doesn't want to enter such a thing. That's why she Ne'enim Kodeshes. This is the svara. Before the Ritva, let's see the Ritva. You have the Ritva here. What do you want to say here? Jewish, אפילו אמר בקולדו, אומר שאין בין אבא מאבא, בכל מה שכספו שם אבא מסכרת הדעת, כן? והיא קדושה toast. That is hard for me to understand. Why Kedusha? She agreed. You have to say what I said. That she thinks it's worth more. And what Kedusha means, I never agreed to your 50 because I cheated myself. I knew that I'm cheating myself. And how I know that it's not even that is not worth it the way I'm dreaming, I wouldn't agree to that 50. Or I wouldn't agree to the cold. And therefore we throw it out. She's definitely not going to leave the husband. She thinks it's way more. And she agreed to the 50 because she's thinking she got a deal, something he doesn't know. And later on we'll find out why and a lot of people are like that. The whole business of cheaters, how do you call them? The deceivers or those okatzim, people that Nigerian, all those people that kill people and cheat in business is those type of things. That people have dreams and they know how to work on your psychology to have a dream. And they are very careful in the words to let you dream and try to dream. And really, and you never really agreed to what they said. You only dream because of that. When you find out this and that, you agreed, you made an easy deal way more, and they gave him way more than what's really, she didn't really want it. So the same thing is here. That's really the Tzvah Rabbeinu Tam. Comes the Rosh, just a few more minutes, I just want to finish the Rosh. The Rosh stays very clearly. The Rosh is in the papers. Guys, the Rosh in the papers we have in the Diaspora Yeshiva papers. We'll see. The Rosh as a Tasha. It's in the papers, page 4. The Rosh says it's not clear to me. Time is not clear to me this reason of Rabbeinu Tam. He says, I don't understand, since we have 3 opinions in the Suga, Rashi, Rambam, and Rabbeinu Tam, and the world worries for Rabbeinu Tam, And therefore, when a woman marries herself with a ring and has a stone, they take off the stone. Why? Because they say, stone, she would deceive us as she agreed to the stone because she thinks now it's worth the way it's worth, the way he thinks it's worth way more. And she's cheating herself, she doesn't want to enter that. All this whole he gave. Comes, this is the way he defines the Rabbeinu Tam. But let's see what he said. He says, I don't understand why the world, because of this Rabbeinu Tam, removes stones from the rings. When I give kiddushi, when I give a tabat, you don't appraisal it. You just give it to what it is for stam. It's like koldu. And what we said, the koldu, there's no machlekes. The lish nekam, everybody agrees. So what's the problem? That's the Rosh Kash against Rabbeinu Tam. Again, Rabbeinu Tam said, when we don't need shuma in shiroyin, similar things like that, which the appraisal is recognized clear. But stones and diamonds, that the appraisal is very big spectrum, not clear, not recognized. So therefore, is out. We cannot. Therefore, you need appraisal, and it's no good. Comes the Rosh, and he has a question. Number one is why? Before that, and because of that, the world worried for Rabbeinu Tam, and he said you cannot marry a woman with a ring with a stone. Why cannot marry a woman with a ring with a stone? Because a stone is one of those materials which unclear, is a big spectrum of how much it's worth, and therefore the woman is she doesn't. You need shuma, you need an appraisal. So he says, comes the law, and therefore it's out. Therefore, you cannot marry a woman with a stone. They take off the stone. Comes the Rosh, and he says, I don't understand. Well, if I say the koldu, we said everybody agrees that mekudeshes. And when I say koldu, everybody agrees I don't need shuma. Normal ring, I know with this. I don't have shuma. You don't make any shuma. You don't give any appraisal to the house of kiddushi. So therefore, he says, I don't understand this mina. This is the Rosh Kasha, and the two brings down the Rosh. The Rosh Kasha, I read even the Tur's language of his father stronger. It's in the top of the page. The Tur says, וכוסה ותויני הראש, עובי הראש. ומי לא הפירו הייתה, למה נגוע גם סיר האבן מהטבעת? This then on the top of the ראש, is also the Tur. דלא באין אין שומו, אלא כשמזכירים הסכום. When I need appraisal, when I mention numbers of money, market value. Then it's not the way to mention numbers and tabas of Yidushin. That was your question, Rabbi Berel. The Rosh understood in Rabbeinu Tam that Shiroi need shuma, Shiroi don't need shuma, stone need shuma. Both of them are talking about in the case when I talk about market value. Chamishim, Shobe Chamishim. But when because of personal usage, it has to be worth money, otherwise it's not kesef. It's not shtan apia. Then they're and it's like Kodo. It's like Kodo. It's like I have to come onto that. In the world of swim, when I mention numbers of market value, so then you have to Kodo still in the world of market value. So you can say even better. But I didn't mention anything. I said marry with this. I'm not talking about market value, about personal usage. And even if you say praise means market value, it's Kodo. That's what the Rosh says. He's asking really from both sides. But the Rabbeinu Tam shot will be different. Right. True, but you don't mention numbers because you can say personal usage. Yeah, you can say that. You can say when a woman gets a ring, she's thinking for herself, not to sell it. She'll sell it, she'd be shamed. sell their husband's ring, first ring. The Gemara says you don't sell your first business deal. You know that the Gemara? The says you don't sell, it's a bad luck. The woman will not sell the first ring she got from her husband. She doesn't sell. Nobody sells it. It's unsellable. It's a connection. It's unsellable. You don't sell it. What? First husband she doesn't sell. Second husband she sells the first ring and she leaves the second ring after she got divorced. Who knows what? Or she dies. He dies. Depends. And then she has 2 rings. Those things exist. Anyhow, let's go back here. So the Rosh understood that when I don't mention any numbers, it's not part of a sugya b'chalal. She says, what are you talking about? Do we have a problem with our rings to put the diamonds? No, we don't mention numbers. And it's like Kodu. We don't have to come on that. It's not part of numbers, like personal usage. But what really the Pshat Rabbeinu Tam that we saw in the Rashbo and the Ritvo, Pshat Rabbeinu Tam is different. And I want to show you clearly in the language of the two, the way he quotes his father, the Rosh, the way he understood the Sugi is clearly, he learned different the way we learned in Rabbeinu Tam. So open the two, because of Rabbeinu Tam, this is in page 3, turn to page 4. Because of Rabbeinu Tam, specifically, which the appraisal Yodua Ktsas is known a little bit. Kema Malbushi, my clothing. Then Regila Slita is Borokai. There's no pastor to make big mistakes. Good stones and diamonds. Yoitzim and very similar things. There's no people are not professional in their appraisals of it. But and many times they make a lot of mistakes, big mistake. Listen, this is the punchline. He says, marry me with a stone that's worth 50 zuz. He didn't say marry with a stone that is worth 50 zuz. Not marry with this stone and it's worth 50 zuz. With a stone that's worth 50 zuz is different. Sorry, Shuma, he needs an appraisal. She doesn't rely, her mind is not relied on it. Doesn't rely on it. Or doesn't rely. She doesn't rely, like we said, she thinks way over. She doesn't want to go into a roller coaster and cheating herself. Oh no, she thinks it's worth less. It's worth less, that's a problem. She thinks it's worth less. So comes the Rosh says, we don't mention in our marriage any numbers. So special usage. So there's nothing, it's like Kodu, the word's worth. It's the Shavina Kodeshes. If you learn nothing that she doesn't want to go to a roller coaster cheating herself. So we even with no explanation, nothing with a stone. I didn't give any explanation. That's because the type of material that it gives me imagination. She knows I only get into that. See, it's my quick is here an understanding. The Rosh understood the one way, that's why I had a kasha. So the question to you, Rabbi Yosef Chaim. I answer those questions, my quick is showing. How do you learn the sugya? Okay. Okay. 1 second, we're not finished here. Before I'll continue on to Musso Shmuz. Okay, I have 2 options. I'll ask you guys what you rather. I have an option to move to another sugya. Well, we only learned it for 1 week. The other yeshivas learned it 2 weeks, they're moving now. The next sugya is all printed here, the next sugya of Mashkoin, but we only have 1 week. So you rather stay another week on this and learn all the Lechem Mishneh and all the next Gemara of Egel Zed, the Toisesim, if it's words for me, and Setcheli, Didishovli, all that. Right? I'd rather do that, right? Learn more sugya better. So we'll stay in the sugya here, learn, there's a big Lechem Mishneh here. He's asking on the next part of this, all the rayas of Rav Yosef, if it's the Lishna Kam, Lishna Basra, and there's a Machlokes Rishonim, Rashba and Toises we saw now. What is the last raya? And there's a big Lechem Mishneh, what's going on here? And steers in the Rambam. The Lechem Mishneh has a steer in the Rambam, Bechol is this. There a little bit of that, Bezrat Hashem. Next is different, not for us. We stay in this sugi, that's the next part of the sugi. The name is Gemara Kiddushin of Zayin. That's the one. But what is the name of the sugya? Is the Rayas of Rav Yosef. Rayot of Rav Yosef. The proof of Rav Yosef. What? No. I would love to learn Kiddushin for another 2 years. Yes, I know what I'm doing. I want to explain to you one thing. The Gemara says in Masechet Bamitzia, what makes Rosh Yeshiva Rosh Yeshiva? What makes Rosh Yeshiva Rosh Yeshiva? The Gemara says that he decides which Gemara and which sugya we learn. And people have to learn his sugya. Otherwise, it's not the Rosh Yeshiva. So if I have somebody learn something else, and yeshiva is not part of my yeshiva, that's a decision of the Rosh Yeshiva. Okay. This is what the Gemara says in Bamitzia. That's why, if the Rebbe, right, the Rebbe is the owner of the cow, and you are the shoymer, you rest as pile of imoy, no. But if the Rebbe is the shoymer and you're owning the car and you're bending to the Rebbe because he's deciding which masugi you're going to see, pile of imoy, the pile is with him because he has to bend. He has to bend to the master. The Gemara says bend to what? To what you learn. Subject you learn, that's bending. That's what makes the Rosh Yeshiva. The thing is, what makes the Rosh Yeshiva, they sat down in Panovich Yeshiva. It was a big machlokes who's going to be the Rosh Yeshiva. Because the father died, and they claim he gave it to the son-in-law, but it wasn't written, it was only verbally. So whole machlokes there, and Kishma was Rosh Yeshiva. So they told him, okay, you're Rosh Yeshiva, give a shiur klali. Give a Jewish shiur. He says, no, that's not Rosh Yeshiva. But the Gemara, that's what Rosh Yeshiva. No, Rosh Yeshiva means who comes in, who goes out of the yeshiva. Any boy that comes in, I decide to come in. Every Rebbe, they are hiring him, and if not, I pay him and I destroy him. That's what it means. And that was the whole machlokes about Panovich. There's a big machlokes there till today. It's in the Salvin. Anyhow, so those are the definition of Rosh Yeshiva. So I know what I'm teaching Bezrat Hashem. So I want to learn Masechet Kesubas. Yes. Kesubas. We learn Kiddushin, now Kesubas. Kesubas is marriage. Kiddushin is engagement. Kesubas is marriage. You're marching into marriage, Bezrat Hashem. Shas Katan. And I want in the whole year, people should learn the whole Masechet Bekiyas 4 times. We'll put a lot of energy into that. Bezrat Hashem. Be prepared. Okay, so shoes. Siyata D'Shmaya, I want to explain a Rashi, which we spoke about a couple of times about it, and I want to explain the depths of it. It says in our parsha that Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, take revenge of Hashem, or revenge of the Jewish people, in the name of Hashem, and kill the Midianites. Nekoim nikmas Hashem b'Midyanim. Take the revenge of Hashem and the Midianites. Rashi brings down a question. What about the Moabites? The Moabites also gave the daughters. The Moabites also part of the fight. Why only the Midianites and not the Moabites? So Rashi gives 2 answers. We spoke about the first part of Rashi. First answer, that the Moabites, they were allowed to fight, the Midianites were allowed to fight. But the second pshat of Rashi, he brings the Gemara of the Kama of Lamed Ches. The Gemara says that Shnei Preidois Toivois Yeshli. I have 2, Preido means it's a kind of a horse. A female donkey. 2 female donkeys that have not a mule. A parent is a mule. Preido is the woman, is the female. 2 Preido stoivois needs to come out of the Moab. One is Ruth Amaravia and one Naama Ammonit. And after the Vakish you want to destroy them? You can destroy them. I want to explain. When you read this Rashi, Lichor doesn't make sense. You have to understand what it means here. Because how come Hashem wants to save a whole nation not to be destroyed because one woman has to come out of them 400 years later, or 200 years later, about 200 years later. Why? Oh, I have to explain that. The Rambam says that it's enough HaKadosh Baruch Hu to build the whole world and build millions of people and cities and homes and roads and fields and trees and rivers and mountains and valleys, etc., etc. Is enough for what? For one person in the world that is a tzaddik, and we can say tzaddik yesod olam. For that tzaddik, Hashem is the foundation of the world, and the whole world is built for that guy. And what does that mean? That's what the Rambam says in Shmoyne Porkim. It's enough HaKadosh Baruch Hashem doesn't need a lot of tzaddikim. It's enough one tzaddik. Not one tzaddik. Yeah. No tzaddik. That the whole world is built for him. Tzaddik is so going on. The tzaddik is the foundation of the one tzaddik, which means the Briskerov, when he read that Rambam, and he ran away from the Nazis, he told the Talmidim, his children, he ran away from Europe to Switzerland. He was in Lithuania, he passed through probably Poland, for the countries, and he crossed the border, famous story with his wife and his kids, and they came to the border, the Nazis came to check them, and he told his wife and his kids, think Elohim L'Hadoi, nothing else besides Hashem, and who crossed the border, and they crossed the border, the Nazi looked at them, he saw clearly in the papers as Jews, let them go. He came to Switzerland, and was a big building there, and was a hot day, and that building was an old glass bank, who knows what, those days, and was a hot day, and he passed through, and he sat in the shade of the building, and he said like this city probably had no Jews but for 1,000 years. Don't tell me the Chachamim. So Hashem can hold business here, banks, people make money, billions, money, this, that, trading, for 1,000 years. And they build beautiful buildings and develop it for after 1,000 years. That's only Chacham. That is Akverak Kulotoy and Hashem, and mitzvahs. He's going to be hot for him. And he's going to sit in the shade. That's the whole reason. The whole city, the whole trading and money, the tzaddik is so old to enjoy. That's the koach. He said that's the koach hatziu he gave to his talmidim or to students there when he was in Switzerland, running away. Hatziu. What does that mean? There is enough for Hashem to have one tzaddik, which means Hashem can have people born, get married, noble life, enjoy their husband, their wives, kids, work hard in the field, ups and downs on money and parnosa and health, joy, happy, different parts in life. And they live a long life and they die, and their children have a long life and die and have a whole, and everyone has a whole life and stories, and the neighbors are the same, and the whole city, 1,000, 10,000, 1 million people, and 10 million people, 1 billion people, and it's on for generations. For what? One tzaddik. To see the world, he looks around, what this whole world is about, for Hashem, and to use the world to elevate, bring Hashem in the world, it's enough for him.
Enough with stuff.
It's enough. Hashem wants a lot of tzaddikim. It's enough for one tzaddik also. This is the koach hatziu, I can see myself. So maybe this is what it means in Rashi. What do you mean? You have to destroy Moab because they took the daughters and seduced the Brachim of Israel. Nekoi Nikmas Hashem. What about the Moabites? No. 200 years later, one woman will come out of there will convert. Because of that, there's a soul there, which a big trade, a good trade of Torah. Come out of there is worth for Hashem to leave the entire nation, leave alone. But that Reuben to come out of there. Wow. Imagine. This is the greatness of Hashem. Now, I want to explain in a deeper way today, Bezrat Hashem. You have to hold on, they say, hold on to the table. The deeper way, what does that mean in my understanding? The Ramchal and Hashem and all the big Goyim, all the big Mekubalim, in length, they try to explain what does it mean that the bad is also good. There's no bad in the world, everything is good. In length, they explain this concept. But on one foot, I will say a story. When Israel, the state of Israel changed, was a famous channel in Israel in the television. The most famous channel was, I think, number 2. I used to call number 1, 2, whatever it is. And they destroyed it and they built now 11, 12, 13, 14 different numbers. And they changed the format and the company to Tagid Hashu, I forgot all the details of it. But when they changed that, they made 2 or 3 movies as a promo to show that this new company can produce good news. And the first promo where they came to Mount Zion. And when they came to Mount Zion, to Mount Zion. And they came to the Chamber of the Holocaust. And they made a promo. I think in the first 19 hours came out was 600,000 viewers. Very successful. And where was this little movie? What was the point of that movie, the little clip? What do you think they asked me? They asked me, how, as a religious Jew, can you explain the Holocaust? They put me on the spot. Okay, Hashem helped me because of Hashem. And I said as follows. I said, really, there's no bad in the world. No bad. My grandfather got burned and killed. What do you mean no bad? Bad means killed and burned. There's no bad. And now there's a whole first Israel, they call it. First is the Tel Aviv, the first of the Ashkenazi elite in Israel. They're very touchy into the subject. That's a lot of them left Judaism because of that. They're waiting to swallow me up any answer I give, right? So I'm set to lose. So I said it's very simple, Siyata Dishmai. Not simple. I explained that really there's no such thing bad in the world. Everything is good. Now what does that mean? What does that mean everything is good? So I explained to him, let's say you make a movie. And there is the main player. The main player gets the highest payment. The star. And the camera is mainly zooming after him. But you need nitzavim. You need, how do you call those nitzavim? Extras. You need extras, other actors which are in the scenery. And you can have even a bad guy in the movie. Otherwise, you don't have a movie, right? But it's all play, right? Everyone gets rewarded or not? The bad guy gets rewarded too because it's part of the play. There's no good and bad, which means, I want to explain the depths of it in my understanding. Since the whole world is to bring Kovod Hashem, and how can Hashem bring Kovod Hashem? This world of cover, and the Tzaddik HaSabayla reveals Hashem in this world. So really, also the person, as his own here, gets paid for it, but he's there, in a sense, as far as the play of Hashem, the cover of Hashem, to play the covered world. So he had to be here from his side to decide to be in the cover and to be the bad guy, but he's also part of the play. So as part of the play, really in Hashem's world, it's great. Does not bring the cover of Hashem, this play, this situation. As Adam Arishon told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when Hashem wanted to punish Adam Arishon, he said, the Midrash says, he came to me with tricks. You tricked me. You put me in a and I fell down. I was all set up to sell down. You created the play. You play. There's a lot of depth to what Hashem explains, right? What does it mean? With the Bechira, it's not our subject here. But he said, this is probably the Shati and Tzadik Sogolam and Preido Achas. Doesn't matter how many people, as long as you have to play, you have to play. And since this whole nation is part of the play, leave it alone because I need it for the play. And so as far as Hashem's world is all great. It's very deep, very serious. My father, bless his memory, used to say that he built Diaspora Yeshiva. Diaspora Yeshiva, when it started, the first Baal Tshuva Yeshiva in the world, probably in the world, I don't know if the world, definitely in Eretz Yisrael, probably the first Baal Tshuva in the world. Amazingly started in Eretz Zion. He says all the religious Jews in Eretz Yisrael, everybody was running away from religion. Because as my Mankal, Rebbe Tzal Yakovson told me that his father learned in Mea Sharim, they started with a class of 50 kids and they left with 4 or 5 kids religious. That was the ratio. Out of 50, 4 or 5 stayed religious. You have to be a Mashiach to be religious in those days, right? Everybody ran away, you're primitive, and all the, whatever it is. Today, Hashem balance it back. You're Mashiach. But everybody ran away from religion. Nobody wants to become part of religion. Who wants to be religious? Right? So this is really what's going on here. It's worth to create a whole nation in order, because that nation has part of the prayer. Only many tzaddiks, there's one tzaddik. One prayer to come out of there, which is the major play of Mashiach or whatever it is, the prayer of Hashem. It's for part of Hashem prayer, so leave them alone as far as the big picture. In that sense, Hashem says, that's why the Konik is with Yonim and not the Moav and Ammon. The Goy Mevila, I'll finish with this, the Goy Mevila says, always make sure to be the major player, to be part of the player of Hashem. Because when you're the player, so you always get benefits, you don't get hurt. That's all your story of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah we in the camp of Hashem. Once we're in the camp of Hashem, so we're not part of the judgment of the first part of judgment. We in. Then in details, Yom Kippur, different story. That's the going. Same idea. We part of the play. It's all a play in a sense. Rather, we get charged on without our free choice, etc. But as far as Hashem's master plan in the world, we needs to bring Kovod Hashem, and we have to be aware of what we're doing to bring Kovod Hashem, and we get reward by doing and fulfilling Kovod Hashem. So, it's enough to save the whole nation for Preidat Toiv. In the big picture. Okay. Atkan. With Shabbos. Rabbi Hanania ben Akash showing. You have to make a cut paste.